You guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much. All right, welcome everyone. We're celebrating our fifth grade class of 2021. I am super sorry that we are not celebrating this amazingly talented group of students with their families this year, but I hope families, you're logged on to the live stream, and we will certainly send out the link later if you're not able to join us right now. We're super proud of them and appreciate all of the family support this year that they've given to our amazing staff and our amazing students. We could not have done this without your family's support this year. It's been a challenging year. So today, we're going to celebrate you, fifth graders, and all of your accomplishments. So as you sit before us, you just completed probably the hardest year that Mrs. Kuba has ever experienced in 30 years. And you guys did that with grace, a positive attitude, and hard work. You persevered. You thrived, you achieved your goals, you collaborated, and you succeeded. I'm super proud of all of you, and the resiliency and tenacity you demonstrated this year will take you really far in the future. As you close the chapter of your elementary school years, you have so much to look forward to. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Each of you is an amazing individual filled with potential. Always remember that you have the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and achieve your dreams. And I hope some of you, or all of you, change the world in the process. Continue to be kind humans. Work hard and do what you love. Congratulations. Let's give this group of students a short, brief round of applause, and we'll get started. I'd like to introduce a group of really awesome humans that have been educating these kiddos all year. So please welcome Mrs. Glover, Mrs. Susko, Mr. Miller, Mrs. Wright, and Mrs. Clark. We should give them a round of applause, too. So I'm going to turn it over to them, and we'll get started with recognizing each student. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Kuba. I would love to introduce Junior McDowell. Please come up, Junior. Junior's favorite memory in elementary school was going bowling last year with his inclusion friends. And his hope for the future is that next year when he goes to Taft, he'll be welcomed and included in middle school. And he wants to thank his Nana and Papa for being there for him through all these years and helping him so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. I would like to welcome Cam Bestick. Congratulations, Cam. Cam's favorite memory in elementary school, was when he got to dance and sing in Mr. Roundtree's class. One hope that he has for the future is to be welcomed at Taft and to be included. And he wants to thank his teachers for knowing how awesome and smart he is. Way to go, Cam. Next, I'd like to welcome Carter. Come on up here, Carter. Carter's favorite memory in elementary was when he began communicating with his device and singing along in high group with his favorite songs. One hope that he has for the future is to make friends and have fun while learning and growing. Carter would like to thank his mom, he says he turned out awesome because of her. And next we'd like to welcome Noah Tippman. Noah's favorite memory in elementary was when he rode the bike all by himself for the first time and learning with Miss Sue. One hope he has for the future is to be welcomed at Taft and to be included. He wants to thank his mom and dad for going with him on fun field trips like Camp Courageous. They were such a blast. Congratulations, Noah.
Hello, I'm Braden Miller. This is Dantes Smith is coming up next here. His favorite memory in elementary was having field day with friends, which we're doing tomorrow. Again, one hope I have for my future is to be a professional basketball player. You could definitely do that. And I want to thank Mr. Pappas, Mrs. Thompson, Mr. Tim, and Mr. Miller. Appreciate that, Dantes. Thank you, Dantes. Next is Phoenix Bowers. His favorite memory in elementary is working with me. Appreciate that, Phoenix. One hope I have for my future is to have lots of friends. He wants to thank his family. Thank you, Phoenix. Next up is Marlo Montgomery. There it is. My favorite memory in elementary was dunking on one of my friends. One hope I have for my future is to be a football star. I want to thank Mr. Pappas, Mr. Miller, Ms. Hamill, Mrs. Clark, Mr. Brett, Mr. Tim, Mrs. Koopa, and all of his friends. Thank you, Marlo.
All right. Next up, we have Raiden Beeson. My favorite memory in elementary was going to Indian Creek in 4th grade. One hope I have for my future is to get a good job and to try to go to college. I want to thank Mrs. Steinke, Mrs. Lauer, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Harmonine, Mrs. Clark, and Mrs. Wright, and Mrs. Kuba. Next up, we have Kemry Shaw. My favorite memory in elementary was Mrs. Shaver sprayed us with the hose. One hope I have for my future is that the teachers are nice. I want to thank my mom, my dad, and all of my past teachers. Talon Chandler. My favorite memory in elementary was playing football at recess. One hope I have for my future is to go to college and play football. I want to thank my teachers. Good job, Talon. Next up, we have Peyton Clifton. My favorite memory in elementary was my teachers and friends. One hope I have for the future is that I get a good education. I want to thank my teachers for helping me learn. Good job, Peyton. Next up, we have Shamar Fonsville Cabin. My favorite memory in elementary was recess. One hope I have for my future is to stay great. I want to thank my teachers to helping me learn. Next up, we have Jesse Johnson. I don't know. Jesse, my favorite memory in elementary was recess. One I hope I have for my future is to have lots of friends. I want to thank my teachers for teaching me. Good job, Jesse. All right, next up is Karis Johnson. My favorite memory in elementary was having recess and learning. One hope I have for my future is to keep learning. I want to thank my teachers for helping me learn and to become better at reading, writing, science, and math. I also want to thank my parents. Good job, Karis. Next up, we have Harrison Jones. My favorite memory in elementary was playing football and soccer, having fun with my friends, doing the Tiger Trot, and field day every year. One hope I have for my future is to be a game designer. I also want to be a professional gamer, or I want to play football. I want to get good grades, and I want to go to college. I want to thank my mom, my dad for food and shelter, my brother and friends for helping me when I am stuck on something. Good job, Harrison. Next up, we have Naomi Lenhart. My favorite memory in elementary was when we had the Tiger Trot, and we could walk and talk. One hope for my future is to have good grades in middle school. I want to thank my mom, dad, Mrs. Steinke, Mrs. Lauer, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Harmoning, Mrs. Swanson, Mrs. Wright, Mrs. Litz, and Mrs. Kuba. Good job, Naomi. Next up, we have Jake Long. My favorite memory in elementary was recess and when I would improve in math. One hope I have for my future is learning how to code and to be an engineer. I want to thank all the teachers I had and my parents. Good job, Jake. Next up, we have Hunter Lorson. My favorite memory in elementary was the tiger trot and other activities. One hope for my future is to own a company like a construction company. I want to thank all of the teachers at Truman and my mom, dad, and sister. Good job, Hunter. Congratulations. Next up is Mason Morovitz. My favorite memory in elementary was when I got to come to Truman and make new friends. One hope I have for my future is to get good grades and make new friends. I want to thank my dad, Mrs. Wright, and my mom for supporting me in my education. Good job, Mason. Next up is Colin Miller. My favorite memory in elementary was being in class with my friends and not having to do these COVID safety things. One hope I have for my future is to be successful in life and to go to college. I want to thank all of my teachers throughout my years here and making Truman Elementary such a great, happy, amazing place for me and everyone else. Congratulations, Colin. Next up, Marks Murphy. My favorite memory in elementary was when I went to Indian Creek last year. One hope for my future is to go to college and to get a job. I want to thank my teachers for teaching me so many things. Congratulations, Marks. Next up is Piper Mussman. My favorite memory in elementary was getting to meet a bunch of new friends and meeting amazing teachers throughout the years. One hope I have for my future is to get good grades and to become a great learner. I want to thank all of my teachers for teaching me the best they could and being the sweetest. Next up is Olivia Oxley. My favorite memory in elementary was all the good teachers I had. One hope for my future is getting good grades. I want to thank all my teachers for helping me get better at math and reading. Congratulations, Olivia. Next up, we have Riley Purdy. My favorite memory in elementary was when we were roller skating in gym, the blow-up obstacle course, and the last day of school when we did our events for field day. One hope I have for my future is to have a great graduation, to have good grades, and good luck. I want to thank my family, friends, and teachers for teaching me a valuable lesson. Congratulations, Riley. Next up, we also have Jet Wright. He is virtual with us right now. Jet Wright, a favorite memory in elementary was getting orange juice for breakfast. One hope for his future is to get into college and play football or even the NFL. I want to thank my mom for putting me in school. Congratulations, Jet. Next up, Mrs. Clark's class.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Clark. I'd like to welcome Weeson Aguilar Salinas. His favorite memory in elementary was when he went to Indian Creek in 4th grade. One hope he has for his future is to be a soldier and save the world and to keep the earth clean. He wants to thank Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Wright, Mrs. Kuba, Mrs. Swanson, Mrs. Hamill, Mrs. Spicer, Mrs. Carter, Mrs. Phillip, and Mrs. Johnson. Next up is Alex Anderson. His favorite memory in elementary was going on field trips with his friends. One hope he has for his future is to be successful in life and have a happy one. And he wants to thank every teacher he had for showing him great and fun experience at Truman Elementary. Way to go, Alex. All right, next up is Jacob Anderson. His favorite memory in elementary was going to West Ridge with his grandma. One hope he has for his future is to help others, and he wants to thank Mrs. Stanky, Mrs. Schultz, Mrs. Harmony, Mrs. Swanson, and Mrs. Clark. Yeah. All right, we have Mercy. Mercy's not here today. But her favorite memory in elementary was the January winter party. One hope she has for her future is for middle school, and she hopes to do her best. And she wants to thank Mrs. Clark for when there was tough times in the classroom and she didn't quit. Next up is Caden Baker. His favorite memory in elementary was second grade because he had a good teacher, Mrs. Herring, and fifth grade because of Mrs. Clark teaching me to get to sixth grade. His hope for his future is that he is successful and gets a good job. And he wants to thank Mrs. Clark and Mrs. Herring for being the best teachers ever. All right, next up is Joseph Balaga. His favorite memory in elementary was a field trip to Brucemore. One hope he has for his future is that he can go on field trips again. And he wants to thank his past teachers, current teacher, and anyone else that helped him in learning. Nice job, Joseph. All right, next up is Seth Beeson. His favorite memory in elementary was studying worms in fourth grade. One hope he has for his future is to be a successful YouTuber and get a good job. And he would like to thank Mrs. Swenson, Mrs. Schulte, Mr. R, and Mrs. Thompson. Next up is Cadence England. Her favorite memory in elementary was making lots of friends who are nice to her. One hope she has for her future is to get a job and go to college. And she would like to thank Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Wright, and Mrs. Kuba. Nice job, Cadence. Next up is Easton Frericks. His favorite memory in elementary was making friends. One hope he has for his future is to be a good sports player. And he would like to thank Mrs. Clark and Mrs. Thompson. Next up is Danny Hammett. His favorite memory in elementary was the Indian Creek Nature Center. One hope he has for his future is to be good at writing stories. And he would like to thank Mrs. Stanky, Miss Schulte, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Houston, Mrs. Hamel, Mr. Roundtree, and his parents. Nice job, Danny. Next up is Cale Heck. His favorite memory in elementary was Camp Courageous with the SD kids and Indian Creek. One hope he has for his future is to become a professional football player. And he would like to thank the SD teachers for inviting him to Camp Courageous with them. Next, we have Spencer Levin. My favorite memory in elementary was all of fifth grade. One hope he has for his future is to successfully publish a game on Roblox Studios. And he wants to thank every teacher. Nice job, Spencer. Next up, we have Grace Mabata. Favorite memory in elementary was going on all of the field trips. One hope she has for her future is to get a great job and a great education. And she would like to thank Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Thompson, Mrs. Clark, Mr. Roundtree, Mrs. Houston, and Mrs. Hamel. Next, we've got Colton Ormiston. His favorite memory in elementary was Indian Creek. One hope he has for his future is to go to college. And he would like to thank his mom, dad, and Miss Clark. Next up, we have Keenan Seidel. His favorite memory in elementary school was being able to hug, high five, and be able to have hugs from his teacher. One hope he has for the future is for coronavirus to end so that we can all hug and high five. And he would like to thank Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Phillip, Mrs. Kuba, Mrs. Carter, Mrs. Nancy, Mrs. Austin, Mr. Roundtree, and his friends for helping him up and being there for him. Next up, we have Lily Skiles. Her favorite memory in elementary was going into her classroom for the first time and meeting new friends. One hope she has for her future is to be able to stay close to her best friends even if they don't have the same classes. And she would like to thank her parents for letting her go to this school and thank her teacher for teaching me skills I didn't even know existed. Next up is Tyree Turner. His favorite memory in elementary was going to Indian Creek in 4th grade. One hope he has for his future is to go to the NFL. And he would like to thank all of his kindergarten through 5th grade teachers. Next up, we have Kinnick Tusine. Our favorite memory in elementary was meeting a bunch of friends and teachers throughout the year. One hope she has for their future is to go to college and get a good job. And she would like to thank Mrs. Houston, Mrs. Herring, Mrs. Harmony, Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Hommel, Mrs. Kuba, Mr. Roundtree, and her friends. And last but certainly not least, we have Liam Weisner. His favorite memory in elementary was when he went to West Ridge. One hope for his future is to be welcomed at Taft and to be included at Taft. And he would like to thank Mrs. Smith for believing in me and teaching me how to control my anger.
All right, you guys are anxiously awaiting. Great job, class of 2021. Thanks, families, for being with us today virtually. I feel like I've said that a lot lately. We will sanitize our hands at the end. We have one more thing. I'm sorry, I almost forgot. Thanks for the reminder. We, every year at Truman, get to honor one student, and teachers vote on this. And there's a little scholarship attached. And so one of your classmates was selected for the Bob Bankston Scholarship. This is something that Mr. Bankston has given to our student at Truman every year. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Beatty to present it to that student now.
Okay, so the Bob Bankston Award is for good citizenship and scholarship, and it's for a Truman student to use after they graduate high school for post-high school education. And our winner this year is Karis Johnson. Come on down, Karis.
Some of you didn't like waiting and pausing here to smile. Karis, come on up. Karis, we can, go ahead. Yeah. Once Karis is here, we will clap for her. So they clap. Smile right here for just a second, and then we'll get your picture at the end. Let's give her a round of applause.
Okay, you guys have done such an awesome job of sitting here. Truman Tiger, 5th grade class of 2021, would you stand up and we'll applaud. At home, you guys can applaud too. Congratulations. This has been an awesome day. Yesterday, you guys, I said you guys got to apply all the skills with making science and math using MarbleWorks. You used some comprehension skills yesterday with your scavenger hunt. And so you've been applying all of those skills that you've learned in really fun, innovative ways the last few days. So thanks to your teachers for coming up with creative and motivating ways to learn the last few days. Thank you guys for making the last couple of days so awesome. We have a little bit more celebrating to do with a little treat. Compliments of our PTO, some Kona ice. So we will wrap up today. Thanks, parents, again for joining us virtually. We're so proud of your kids. Have a great summer and have a great rest of your day. All right, would everybody sit back down? I have a few